every spring you have some goals and some needs that you really want to address. So that part does change a little bit from spring to spring. In reality, though, the installation doesn't really change. I think the format of spring football doesn't really change with me, at least. Our first 5 practices are all first and second down installation. We're working and focusing on fundamentals and basic techniques in player evaluation. Sometimes if you do too much early, you can't really get a real true evaluation of some of your younger players because they're having to respond to things and do things that they're not really quite ready to do. The reality this year is we want to build on our most recent successes. And last year's football team learned some real valuable lessons. I think it grew and it matured as the season went on. And there were some moments late in the year where we were really good. And we had great focus and resolve, toughness and commitment. And those are some of the things that you want to make sure that you can continue to build upon. So there's an X and O philosophy or mindset that goes into spring football, but there's also a character building element of it. And you want to make sure that your team is progressing in all areas. And I like the leadership in this group, and I'm hopeful that that can help us come out of spring where we need to be, when we get ready to head into the fall. And to run our offense and our defense, I think not only spring football, but just our day-to-day, heading into the spring, their ability to just get connected with our student athletes, their ability to develop relationships with our student athletes, to build trust, so our players can recognize their teaching methods and get to know their personalities a little bit. So as you head into spring football, it's really important that Chris and John are offered the opportunity to be able to express themselves and to take the leadership role within those respective units, offensively and defensively. We always want to be prominent and dominant in the offensive and defensive line. So we've got to start with that each and every year. We lost Nick Richer and Caleb High in that offensive line, but we have plenty of candidates that can come out there and give us really good play. The tight end position is all back, though Nick Holloway will be out with injury for the entire spring and into the early part of the fall. But we still have legitimate candidates there that are going to allow us to be able to have a physical presence across the offensive and defensive line. I think from a production standpoint, it is the running back position that the production numbers will not be present in terms of what we had given up from last season, in particular with Jacoby. But we've got guys that can carry the ball, and we've got guys that can produce statistics and help us be successful running the football. So I think it's fair to say that, to get the run game started here this spring and to have some confidence in our ability to run the ball, when you go to the pass game, we really have everybody back other than Reggie Diggs. Now, Reggie's an outstanding player, but we rotated 6 or 7 guys back at receiver last year. So it is our ability offensively to get the run game going. And then, defensively, we just have a lot of guys back, depending on how you count starters and what have you. Kind of have 9 of 11, I think, in my world in terms of guys that I consider to be starters defensively back. So we're just looking to adjust and make some subtle adjustments within the defense. And then as a player, your ability to master your position is something that happens later in your career. And I'm challenging all my guys this spring to get out of their comfort zone and to move beyond your current and present understanding of your position. And, we all can operate with some confidence when we're working inside our comfort zone. But we all have things we have to work on. We all have things we have to improve. And I think you as a human being make the most improvement when you're working in areas outside of your comfort zone. So if we can get this group to really buy into that, I think we can really elevate our time out here with our spring football practices.